Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So lately I've been having some small issues with some misfire codes that I've been getting in my car. So I went ahead and plugged in a code scanner and found out where I was getting those freaking codes and misfires from. So I traced it down to the Valvetronics motor right here under the freaking cover. So in today's video, I'm gonna be showing you how to get rid of all your misfire codes or any oil leaks that may be coming from your Valvetronics motor or the Valvetronics motor gasket. So first thing we want to do is go ahead and remove that shroud right here that holds the cabin air filter. So you go ahead and pull off this back clip from the front one. Put that off to the side. Same thing over here. Go ahead and grab your 8mm socket, and working from the rear, you're going to go ahead and remove your cabin air filter, mostly by hand. Don't lose the screw. Go ahead and put it off to the side. And same thing over here. And there should be 4 of them. You'll have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So once those are removed, you can go ahead and simply lift this off, put it off to the side. Should have another 8mm screw right in here. Mine is actually not there anymore, but I had one and I had another there, but my little shroud right here is kind of broken. After that, you'll have 2 electrical connectors, 1 and 2. So go ahead and back these off, just like that. Go ahead and grab this harness. It'll be held on by these 3 little clips. You'll just basically grab it and pull, just like that. Now you can go ahead and remove that shroud, move it out of the way. So what this is going to do is it's going to allow us more space to go ahead and remove this engine cover. So we have 3 bolts, 1, 2, and 3. If you've seen any of my previous videos, I only keep the top 2. I don't put the back one because then you have to remove all this again. If you just didn't have a back one like that, you could keep all this on and just lift it off. Go ahead and grab your 10mm socket and go ahead and remove this screw. And I only keep mine about hand tight, though. If I ever get stranded on the middle of the road, I can just hand remove it, just like that. Put it off to the side. And from here, we can now lift our engine cover off. Bam. So this right here is going to be the Valvetronics motor. So to remove it, basically we're going to need these coils to be removed. These coils are going to be blocking the screws that are holding it in. This right here is the gasket for the Valvetronics motor, but we're going to have to remove the motor to actually get to the gasket. Basically, you want to go and unplug your battery before you start any of this. I already did that, so we're going to just go ahead and unplug it. It should just be these 2 little push pins. You're going to push and pull out, just like that. So we can go ahead and remove these screws that are holding in the Valvetronics motor. We're going to go ahead and remove coils 3 and 4. It'll give us enough clearance. So go ahead and unplug these, just like that. Now we're going to go ahead and pop this coil out. So once you go ahead and remove cylinder 3 and 4's coil, now we have access to remove the bolts right there. So go ahead and grab your E8 socket. For this, you need a low profile one. So if you use a high profile, like a bulky one, it's not going to work and it's not going to fit inside of the crevice right there. You have to specifically get a low profile one. I'll leave the link down below for the one I purchased. Now we're gonna go ahead and slowly remove the bolts. And you do not want to strip these. They're not on there with a whole lot of torque, so be careful. Carefully without dropping these, we're gonna hand thread them out. Put that off to the side. And one thing I did forget to mention, guys, is gonna have another screw right down here in this bracket. And then from there, sometimes y'all are gonna have to get this 4mm Allen, and there's a hole right in here where it's supposed to fit. So right under the connector. And when it fits in, it should catch. And you will turn this in the counterclockwise position, and that's gonna loosen this to go ahead and thread it out. So you're basically gonna do that just like that and turn it, and you'll hear a pop when it comes loose. And you are probably gonna have to move this wiring harness out of the way. It's just held on by these tabs right here. So just move it out the way just like that, just so this has clearance to leave. And there's our Valvetronics motor. So you see all that sludge on there, and sometimes you can actually see it's scraped because it's rubbing against the eccentric shaft gears and it's actually skinning the metal basically. You right in there, the gear right there that's attached to. And now I'll show you how to remove the gasket. Okay, you're gonna go ahead and get a T30 socket, and you're just gonna break it, just like that. And once you go ahead and remove one screw, we're gonna go ahead and continue with the next one right over here. Usually you can tell if your Valvetronics motor gasket is leaking because you'll see oil coming down out of here and getting in between all your cylinders right here. But we're gonna go ahead and remove it now. just like that. All right, so we went ahead and already cleaned off our Valvetronics motor. So we'll go ahead and slap this back on. If it ends up leaking again, I'll just replace it. It's not too bad to replace. But I replaced mine recently, so I don't want to go ahead and order a new one. And so how you want to install this right here is this black line right here on the top. So this right here is gonna be facing up, not down. It's gonna be facing up, just like that. So now we're gonna go ahead and thread our freaking bolts back into here. All right, so now you're gonna go ahead and get your new Valvetronics motor. I got mine off of a parted out vehicle. It was still good, it's not bad or anything. I just didn't buy one new. I got this for super cheap, like 20 bucks basically. So why not? I'm just gonna go ahead and slap it in. Saves me a good 80, 90 bucks. So it'll have this little piece at the bottom that'll line up with this little bracket down here. You're just gonna insert it slowly, just like that. Reinsert this, you're gonna get your 4mm Allen, and now you're gonna turn this clockwise until the Valvetronics unit is flush with the motor. And once you start feeling any resistance, you're gonna go ahead and stop applying pressure. So right there is good. You can see it is now flush to where I can install the fasteners. So now once those fasteners are back in and you've torqued them down, make sure it's nice and tight. And we're gonna go ahead and reinstall our electrical connector. Just like that. We're gonna go ahead and pop our coils right back into place. Down. Go ahead and put our other coil right back into here. Down, just like that. And honestly guys, this is a great time to just go ahead and replace all of your coils since you're already doing most of the work. And now from here, we are all good to go. We're gonna go ahead and reinstall our shroud right back on. Before I go ahead and reinstall my cabin air filter shroud, we're gonna go ahead and give the vehicle power again. And I'm gonna go ahead and recalibrate the Valvetronics motor. That way, if I have an issue with it, I don't have to remove everything all over again. Make sure everything's good, all your coils are plugged in, everything's good to go. I'm gonna go ahead and replug the battery and recalibrate the Valvetronics motor. I have a scan tool to recalibrate the Valvetronics. There's a way to do it to where you don't actually need a scan tool. You can actually just use the key, put it in, let the car sit for 30 seconds. So put it in, bring it to this position right here. Let it sit for 30 seconds and it's like a repeat cycle. I'll leave the link down below for the exact walkthrough on how to do it. But for just time's sake, we're gonna go ahead and use my diagnostics tool. Like I said, guys, I will leave the link down below on the walkthrough because I know not all of you guys have a diagnostics tool like this. So don't be sketched out, don't get scared. You can do this without using any expensive tools. So you're going to go to Service, Drive, Motor Electronics, Adjustment Programs, Learning Valvetronic Limit Positions. You're gonna hit OK. It's gonna tell you what exactly it's gonna do. Switch on terminal 15, I have it on. All the electronics are on. OK. Switch on terminal 15. The stops are learned in the next lesson. And you can actually hear the Valvetronics motor. It's gonna start moving. You're gonna hear it like wind up. I usually do it twice just to be safe, but you can actually hear it winding up. You can't hear it from here, and it should be good. Well, now that we tested it out and we know everything works, we're just gonna reverse all of our steps and put that shroud right back on. Just like that, and then put the next one on. That connector facing to the bottom left. Move this back out the way. Replug your connectors. And I always like to give this a nice wipe down just to go ahead and eliminate any dirt from entering the cabin. So after you give it a nice wipe down, go ahead and pop your cabin air filter back on, just with those 8mm screws that were holding it in. Go ahead and re-clip our connectors right back on. So once those are clipped back on, we go ahead and put those two caps back on there. All right, so once these caps are back on, you are basically good to go, guys. That is the complete job on how to replace your Valvetronics motor and your Valvetronics motor gasket. I hope you guys found that video useful. So now if you're having misfire codes and you diagnose it down to be your Valvetronics motor, now you guys have a nice little walkthrough on how to replace that. And if you are leaking oil from that gasket and don't know where it's coming from, go ahead and trace the oil. And if you can see it seeping out the gasket, now you'll know how to replace it. As always, I love you guys. Thank y'all for the support. Go ahead and drop a thumbs up if y'all like this video and comment down below if you have any questions at all. See y'all in the next video.